welcome 21-time PGA Tour winner and RSM Classic Tournament host Davis Love III. Davis, thanks for joining us for a few minutes. Always good to see you, whether it's in person or virtually as such. Just a few comments on the week being here and how excited you are, kind of from obviously a business end of things as well. I know you're not playing this year, but just kind of bring us up to speed on the week so far.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it means to actually host rather than play and host. But, it's a strange year. We've had, friends coming in town the last few days, and you think, oh, well, I'll just have all the guys over for dinner. And then you go, no, I can't do that. I'll meet them at the restaurant. Well, no, can't do that. And then all our friends from RSM that are not here, it's just overwhelming to think about. We just had our tour Bible study canceled tonight. It was going to be one of the first ones we've had all year, and it canceled because of contact tracing. So I give Jay Monahan just an unbelievable amount of credit and all of the tour staff for making this happen, go all the way back to Hilton Head and Colonial when we started, to think how far we've come and how many tournaments we've played. And sure, every week we might get a few positive tests, but it's just been amazing that we're pulling this off week after week. And we saw a couple tournaments actually have fans. We're having a Pro-Am this week. We're going to raise some money for charity. So we're just blessed that we're having the tournament. We're excited that guys are rolling into town, and it's neat that it's after the Masters. It was a strange Masters, and it's strange that we're taking the courtesy cars from the Masters and trading them in here for a BMW. And it's completely different. But as a player, I've been out there playing, major championships and regular tournaments and Champions Tour events. It's been a strange year for the players, but it's even more strange as a host.
I know you've been kind of fighting the neck a little bit. If you could just kind of bring us up to speed on your health and how you're feeling with the neck.
I'm feeling actually pretty good. I felt so good about 2 weeks ago that I actually tried to hit some balls and then got scolded from the therapist that I was actually out hitting balls. But Randy Myers, my trainer, was standing there watching, so I can blame him. But I felt like to be able to play the RSM, I had to try it. And it didn't work, and I went right back into therapy. And I just need another week or two. And unfortunately, I haven't played since I withdrew during the tournament out at Pebble, the Pure Insurance tournament. And it was really bothering me, and it has steadily gotten better. If I follow protocols, I get better. I'm not supposed to play golf or hunt or fish or drive bulldozers. So I've generally been good, and it is getting better. It's disappointing not to play, but I knew even a month ago I wasn't going to be competitive even if I did play. So I'm doing the right thing. The main goal for me personally is to get ready for next year. So try to add what I can this week, do what I can to entertain our friends and our sponsors that are here inside the ropes, and then do what I can. I've already gotten guys dinner reservations, and just got some guys some barbecue sauce from Southern Soul that were desperate because it's closed today. So I'm doing the big things to get this tournament moving.
All right, well, I've got just one last question, and then we'll open it up for questions from those within this chat. And just as a reminder, if you do have a question, please type it into the meeting chat, and I will call on you. But my last question is just the Birdies for Love. We got Sungjae heading in with the lead final week. How pleased are you with the whole program this season?
Well, it's just incredible. The Birdies for Love is the biggest probably program that RSM has supported us on, taken over, and made it bigger and better. We were running it's very small here locally, and they took it internationally, really, in all their offices. That's the most exciting part of the week now for me, is when RSM, here in about an hour, when they present the check of what their company has raised for Birdies for Love. And the money flows through our foundation, but it goes back to all those communities that raise the money at their offices all across the country. So we're excited about that, and they do just an incredible job, little things and big things, making this tournament happen. With Sea Island and RSM, we could not ask for better partners, and especially in the last 6 to 8 months, They have not backed down one bit. They've increased their activation. They can't bring their guests, but they have not slowed down one bit on doing everything they can to raise money for charity and make this tournament a success.
Fantastic. Okay, well, with that, we will open it up with a few questions. We'll start with Gary Smith from the Florida Tennis Union. Gary, if you take yourself off mute and open your video if you'd like.
Okay, hey, how you doing, Davis?
Good, Gary.
Davis, you touched on something I wanted to ask you about the getting through the season. It's apparent that you're going to be able to get through the calendar year where the tour is. And unlike the NBA, which put their players in a bubble, and baseball and the NFL kind of did that to a certain extent, this depended on an awful lot of personal responsibility from players, from caddies, from volunteers, from PGA Tour staff members, which seems like a massive undertaking. Can you speak to how everybody from the commissioner on down to a whole marshal, performed in during this pandemic in making this possible from like I said, personal responsibility from thousands of people, literally.
It's amazing. You can play, I don't know how many teams can come into one area and be in a bubble and have a playoff series or a few games, but our game changes every week. We go to a new city with new rules, with new challenges, and it just gets harder and harder, not easier and easier. So my wife Robin, back in the summer, said, "I want you to call Jay Monahan and tell him what a great job he is doing." And we should all be thankful for leadership, and then all the way down to our tournament volunteers. When I walk in our tournament office, I have to be reminded to put my mask on because they're doing such a great job at making our tournament run. And if our volunteers didn't buy in, get tested, follow protocols, and it's 3 times as much work for our volunteers now. Everything is more difficult to put on these tournaments. So it really is amazing. And you can tell from the players, if the players were doing what they normally do, hanging out, going out to restaurants, in hotels, hanging out together, if we'd have done our normal routine, this whole thing would have been shut down. If the caddies hadn't bought in, if the tour staff hadn't bought in to following the rules, you're right, it would have been shut down a long time ago. And who knows what it's going to take to get through this next couple of months, but we're going to have to keep this up. I foresee, I'm already hearing tournaments on the West Coast are going to be in the same boat we're in now. Maybe no fans in some states. So it's going to still take a little while, but it's been an amazing undertaking. I know it's cost charity and the tour a lot of money, but it's just amazing we've kept it going.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. I unplugged the wrong one. Next up, Adam. Adam Shuback, go right ahead.
Hey, David.
Hey, Adam.
Given that you stepped aside from doing television because you wanted to focus more on playing, how frustrating has this recent setback been for you?
I'm being very careful not to complain about 2020 because so many people have had a rough year. But needless to say, this year has not gone as planned for me and for the Love family, but I continue to realize how blessed we are and thankful for everything that we can, have a great week still this week that, as we were talking to Gary, is we're still going to have our tournament. We're still going to give money to charity. All our family is healthy and happy. So, but yeah, at every turn, things have not worked out well for us this year, but it was a hard decision to withdraw from this tournament, Playing in the Pro-Am tomorrow, is a big part of it. Being around the players and competing with them and showing. I remember Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus, playing, really past when they should be playing, but it was the right thing to do. They needed to be playing in their tournament and be visible to the players and to the fans. And so I wanted to do that, but I just knew one, it wasn't good for my body, and two, it wasn't good for my scorecard to try to play. But it's been disappointing all around, but we're having a lot of fun with a lot of things this week, and excited about putting the tournament on. And now I'm seeing more on the inside, how things work and what's going on, and hopefully I find some way to contribute this week other than on the golf course.
Can you give an update on on your house and what your plans are moving forward with that?
Yeah, again, we've been really blessed. We bought a great house, I guess in April, and everybody asks, "Are you settled in your house?" I said, "No, we're settling. We're coming to grips with everything," and I'm proud of my wife, Robin. She's done an incredible job. I know a lot of people would have just crawled into a hole and not come out, but she's been very strong and resilient, and we're hanging in there. But we have a great house. The grandkids show up and come running down the hall like nothing ever changed. They love just being around their grandmother and hanging out with her. And I keep telling her, wherever you are is where the fun's going to be. It doesn't matter what house we're in. So it's been great. We're having to make a lot of decisions we never thought we would have to make, and replace things we never thought we'd have to replace. But again, we're very blessed, and we're trying to. We've seen the bad side of things a lot in our lives, and now we're trying to really help other people that are in the same situation. So it's really helped us refocus our goals, and we're as happy as we can be right now. I think she would agree that our marriage is in the best place it's probably ever been, and that's great to say after 35 years.
No plans to rebuild, though?
I say that Robin Love should build a house, but guess who's going to make that decision? Whenever she wants to build a house, we're going to build a house. We've gone from one extreme to the other in this process. And our good friend Larry Moody, who's been the PGA Tour chaplain, for over 40 years, told me just the other day, he said, "You're going to have to go through a full year. You haven't gone through Thanksgiving and Christmas and Robin's birthday on New Year's." He said, "Give it time. Things are going to change." But it's, again, we're lucky that we can make that decision where we want. And if Robin wants to build her a new house, I'll try to stay out of it and let her make all the decisions and build her a new house. But we're very comfortable where we are right now, and that's the main thing.
Okay, and one more, if I could. You've seen a lot of good young talent from all over the world. I'm wondering what you think of South Korea's Sungjae Im, and I think you got a pretty good chance of looking at him at the President's Cup last year. I don't know if you played with them personally, but just what do you see in his game that you like?
I haven't played with him, and I said last night in an interview, who would you want to play with this week? And it was kind of down to him or Davis Thompson in my mind. Like, who have I not played with that's playing great? I haven't played with Davis maybe I don't know. It's been a long, long time. But it's incredible how many of those guys are playing very, very well. Guys that I really don't know. I've just watched them play. So, again, that's why I wanted to play this week, get in the mix with guys like that and watch their games. But there's probably 20 players like that that, are going to be chasing Dustin Johnson and Brooks Koepka and the guys that are at the top right now and trying to run them down. It'll be fun to watch them this week.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we go now to Sean Martin with PGAtour.com.
Hi, Davis.
How's it going?
I wanted to ask you about just a different player and get your perspective on what Bryson is doing and where you think this may be headed. We've always known distance is an advantage in life, and what he's doing is a positive trend, if you will.
Well, I think, when I came out, I was the longest by far for a while until Daly showed up. Daly was the longest for a while, and then the next generation had a whole bunch of them that were long. And I think Bryson's he's the hardest worker at hitting it long and straight that we've ever had. So give him credit. I just worked on hitting it a long way when I was a kid. I never figured out the straight part. with technology, Bryson's the best at using technology. He's the hardest worker. He's probably, if you look at Brooks and Rory and Tiger, you can argue who's working the hardest in the gym. But for 24/7, there's probably nobody working harder than Bryson. So you got to give him credit. Now, what can the game do to stop 20 guys from doing that? I've talked to 2 guys this week that are already experimenting with long drivers, and my son's on I'm losing weight, then I'm going to get bigger, and his club head speed's going up every week. Guys are saying, wait a minute, I'm missing something. So there's a lot of guys. Jim Furyk 4 or 5 years ago came to me and said, can I have Bob Rotella's number? I need to do something different. These guys are beating me. So it's no different than any other technology or hard work. It's just Bryson's working hard at it. I would really like for Augusta National, the PGA Tour, the R&A, the USGA to get together on the coefficient of restitution or the jump phase. Drew Love in the qualifier on Thursday broke his driver because he's swinging so fast. Its face is bending and it cracked. Well, if we made them really thick, everybody would be playing at the same level of jump. Bryson gets more spring than anybody because he's making it go faster than anybody. So I'd like to take a look at that. But last week was really, really exciting. I don't think anybody should rein Dustin Johnson in, because he hits it farther than 95% of the people in the world. And why is he putting? Why is he playing so well? Putting. Why is Bryson playing so well? Putting. Go back and look at Bryson's stats for the year. The weeks he putted great, he either won or finished in the top 10. Long driving is not the answer. You can go ask Dustin, what's the biggest difference in your game the last 5 years? Wedges and putting. He's not going to say, I hit it 20 yards farther than I used to. So anyway, I love what Bryson's doing. A lot of the things that he's doing physically, I need to do to protect my neck and my body. So I'm keeping an eye on him. I bought a flight scope, so Bryson's a big influence on me already.
Do you remember a time on the tour where just one player started a trend and so many guys so quickly started following, like Bryson has seemingly done?
The fitness thing hasn't really been one guy, but obviously Gary Player's the most famous for the only one working out way back. But I would say, Tiger really put a generation on notice that you can be really fit and strong and big and still win every tournament. So I think Tiger really has changed the attitude. Randy Meyer's been preaching that for years, but Tiger's really the first one that dominated the game as a big, strong, muscular, fit guy. Look at Brooks is following that lead, and now Bryson. Guys are realizing that they can not only get big and strong, but also be fast and flexible. I think Tiger really set the bar for the fitness side. And, for me, it was Tom Kite with Bob Rotella. Bob Rotella made a huge difference in Tom Kite. I think Tom Kite made it acceptable for the next generation that, hey, sports psychology is a real thing and we're going to have to join in on it.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll finish up back with a few follow-ups from Adam Shuback.
Davis, just wanted to get your thoughts on the field this week and any special setup, any changes to the course layout we should know about?
No changes to the course. It's in unbelievable shape considering how many people have played golf this summer and early fall. I've never seen so many people. It was all members for a while, and then I guess in June, the resort really opened back up, and it's just been nonstop golf. So Barry Collette, our green superintendent, has done an unbelievable job. We had a lot of rain leading up to this week. It's probably a little damper than he wants or the agronomy staff wants. But no changes. The field is just awesome. I mean, we knew once the Masters went the week before us and the Road to Dubai stuff, was not going to be a factor. We had a tough time with exemptions this year because we had so many guys that wanted a spot that weren't tour members. So yeah, our strength of field has never been better, and our galleries will never be this low again. It's unfortunate that our friends and neighbors and fans that have come every year can't come watch this great field. Tommy Fleetwood's staying in our friend's house right here on the golf course, and Lee Westwood and Jason Day, and right on down the list. We have just a great field of guys. We've got the Kuchers and the Snedekers and the Zach Johnsons and the Kevin Kisners that have Charles Howells that have always played here because they love it here. Now we got a whole new crop of guys that I'm sure are shocked that Boyd Summerhays came up to me yesterday and he goes, "Wow, this place is really, really nice." I go, "Yeah, once you come here, you're hooked." So hopefully we've hooked Tommy Fleetwood and guys like that they haven't really understood what this tournament, what this place is all about, and we'll get them back again.
Can you give a little color on your expanded hosting duties, what that might entail?
Yes, we unfortunately lost a volunteer that can't get across the Canadian border, and she always made the snack mix for the office staff. So Rob and I have about 25, 30 boxes of Czech cereal at our house. She's made 2 giant batches already. Carpooling, the granddaughters, really, really important stuff that I've got to do. GMAC didn't know where to go to dinner last night. So I'm getting all that kind of stuff organized, and a little bit more media stuff. Hopefully we get a lot of publicity this week, and Melanie's been saying, "Well, I know Davis doesn't have anything to do. He can do that radio interview on Thursday morning. I don't have to worry about his tea time." So caught up with Matt Adams this morning, and going to catch up with some other friends on their shows, and just do whatever I can. If somebody goes down, I'm ready. I've already I was scheduled to pick the range, and Randy Myers won't let me do it because he said the cart bounces around too much and it'll hurt my neck. So I'm looking for a job.
Where'd you send GMAC?
He went to Crab Daddy's last night.